Okay, so hello and welcome to Monkhouse on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. I've got Elaine with me from FutureFit Training here. So hi Elaine, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks very much for having me. It's nice and sunny and warm up here in Cheshire, so yeah, not too shabby working from home today.
Good, that's brilliant. We were just talking earlier before we started recording about our exercise habits and things, and I'm challenged myself on a 5K, so I'm now down to 5 minutes and 14 per kilometre at the minute for a 5K. So I'm really enjoying that at the minute. What are you doing to stay active and stay fit and healthy?
Well, my beloved swimming pool has been taken away from me. Unfortunately, I can't go to the gym anymore. So, and I have a bit of metal in my leg from a ski injury. So I've got a nail and screws in my leg. So I have to be a bit careful about what I do. So I've tried various different things. Obviously, I take the dog for a walk and stuff like that. I had to try to do a little jog. That didn't really work too well for me. So I've just actually today taken delivery of a step. And I've joined Les Mills on Demand, and I think it's fantastic. It's really, really good. So I'm doing all sorts of, you know, a bit of a throwback, an 80s throwback to buy a step, I'm sure. But I used to love teaching step and style aerobics. So yeah, I'm sort of starting to get through those classes now. So really good.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, let me know when you get. Yeah, sure. Well, let me know when you get the slide, because I'd love to watch the videos of you using the slide. I don't know if you remember that.
Do you remember the slides? Oh my goodness, I used to really like them. I really did. Yeah, but yeah, a few injuries actually.
No, health and safety managers nightmare.
Yeah, just a few injuries.
Just in case people aren't aware, just give us an overview of FutureFit Training. What is it that you guys do?
So FutureFit Training have been around now for 26 years. So we're a training organisation. We equip people with training, CPD, qualifications for those people wanting to join our lovely sector and become Pilates instructors, nutrition advisors, personal trainers, fitness instructors. We've got a wealth of qualifications and courses, and we deliver across our digital platform. So we've got a lot of good digital education. We have our own studio and videographer and drones and things like that. So we pride ourselves on our digital education, and also our face-to-face practical courses which take place in various different locations around the country. So we deliver to individuals and sell to individuals, but we also have a lot of corporate partners, so employer partners. We go in and try and find solutions for various different asks that they have around training and education and stuff like that. So yeah, very busy. We have, I think, at the moment, probably about 7,000 live learners. So
right.
Quite a lot. Well, that's been taken care of.
Okay, so how's the lockdown affected you then? Have you lost those learners? Have you gained learners? What's happening as a result of lockdown?
Well, it's quite interesting, really. When we obviously first knew that we were heading into lockdown, just before the gyms closed, actually, we took the decision to cancel our practical assessments and delivery that was taken care of that weekend. Our learners and our tutors, very understanding, you know, sort of appreciated that that's what had to happen. And we then thought that what would happen is we would see a dip then in individual sales, corporate sales. We weren't prepared for what actually happened, which is our inquiry levels for individual sales have gone through the roof. We've had 2 record days of inquiry levels, you know, and that's across the whole of the last 26 years, just in April. And our individual sales are tracking higher than they were at this time last year. So people are obviously deciding that they want to get around to, you know, I've always thought I wanted to be a personal trainer, or I also wanted to learn more about nutrition and never had the time, and now I do. So we're having lots of good conversations with new learners. Our current learners are keeping engaged via all our digital platforms and tutor support and technical support. And we again thought that our corporate partners would have to go very quiet because they've had to furlough lots of staff and, you know, sort of very sad to have to close their facilities. But in fact, through the conversations that we've had with them, we're now working with them to create what we're calling reactivate, which is what happens when all this is over. How do we make sure that we use this time positively? So even when staff are on furlough, they can still undertake training. So how do we use this time to remind them of things like how to process a membership, how to backwash the pool, and of course how to clean certain equipment, and where we're working with various different organisations to look at what those cleaning procedures, for example, might look like when we come out of this. You know, how will social distancing kind of influence what we do and how we go about it. So we're really kind of working hard with the section, with our corporate partners and CIMSPA to really look at what this, you know, what we can do at this time to ensure that we get back up and running on our feet as soon as we can.
Excellent. And that's a real surprise for me, because, you know, anecdotally, I had a fear that we'd actually lose instructors and coaches. So, you know, my daughter's tennis coach, for example, can't coach tennis now. He's got a job at Asda. We keep in contact on Facebook, and he said, you know, actually the pay is not bad. I work decent hours so I can see my girlfriend. They've offered me a pension scheme. I've already done a piece of training to help me if I want to stay and do something further. And he's starting to think, why would I ever go back to full-time tennis coaching again? And I was worried to see that reflected. But you're saying actually more people are thinking about joining our sector and learning within our sector. So actually there's a real opportunity to get some really good, fresh, new individuals perhaps in our buildings and things.
Absolutely, there is. I mean, I suppose you can look at it one of two ways. So if you take your tennis coach, for example, you know, I do know of a lot of people who are experiencing the same thing. So, you know, I've heard a lot of stories of, well, I was a lifeguard, I was a group instructor, or I was, you know, a leisure attendant. And actually, I've gone to wherever it may be, Tesco's, and the pay's better, the conditions are better. You know, they treat me better, and that makes me think we may lose a good chunk of this workforce. And what can we learn from that, really, in regards to pay and training and conditions and all those sorts of things? But yes, of course, you're right. On the upside, people are, and it's people who are paying for their own training, so they're very passionate about it. They're, you know, they're dedicating time in their day to study, and they'll have a plan at the end of it. So I agree. I think it's a positive move that people are undertaking all this online training and qualifications, and we could see some really good people entering our sector moving forwards.
Good. And the sort of learning development you're helping to create and working with operators and I guess with represented bodies like UK Active, etc., and CIMSPA around staff training for hygiene, for cleanliness, and those types of things. Do you think there's any other sort of skill sets, competencies that people are going to need when we do reopen? Because of the, I don't know, I suppose the doubt and the fear that a lot of our customers will have about coming into a space where they're close to other people, where other people have used their equipment, etc.
Yeah, I do. I think there will be. So we've looked at, you know, your normal stuff like, you know, administration procedures, full plant procedures, health and safety procedures, and all those things that we've talked about. But yes, I think people will be wary of coming in. I had a conversation with somebody this morning. They sort of said, well, you know, we're just going to have to stay closed because of social distancing. But actually, I think, yes, we will have to do social distancing. But if you're a hairdresser, how do you socially distance and do your job? In the same way, if you're a personal trainer and you have to spot someone's technique, you can't not do that. So it's also about risk mitigation, isn't it? And I think we need to have a look at that and sort of decide what's going to be acceptable and what's not, because people will be scared, like you say. But in addition to in replacing sort of additional skills, from what I see, you know, I'm stood in my bedroom at the moment and I can see out into the lovely field behind my house, and I'm seeing people, families walking, cycling, kids playing football. And I think on the other side of this, people will have realised, you know, I've just bought a step online, you know, that actually they can exercise at home, they can exercise the family, they can exercise outdoors, they can exercise and make it fun, they can do stuff virtually online, and there'll have to be some element of that, I think. If you take, for example, personal trainers, a lot of whom have switched to online, I think taking into account these different ways of doing physical activity and exercise will be very important. They'll have to learn new skills there. But then also people are so aware now about their health. You know, they're so aware, you know, what they're eating, how much activity they're doing, their stress levels, you know, mindfulness, and how this whole thing is impacting on our mental health. So I think if you're a personal trainer or a coach who doesn't have a skill set which includes great communication, knowledge on public health, all those things like, you know, healthy eating, stress levels, sleep, I think you'll fall behind. So I do think that that it will be more it'll move to a more sort of health-based provision. We're already looking at. We were talking to a number of trusts before all of this sort of hit us, and quite a few of them were already sort of starting to say, yeah, we want to move away from physical activity, and we want to move away from fitness and more towards health. So not getting rid of fitness, but using fitness and physical activity as just one part of a holistic approach. And I think what's happened is only going to accelerate that, really, and those skills will be needed.
Well, that's certainly, that conversation has been echoed with an awful lot of people I've spoken to, from operators and providers, etc., of services. And that whole piece around that holistic health trainer bit, where, as you say, fitness is part of that, I think is something that I think the sector would be keen on. But I think so would our partners in health be keen on that type of approach, because I think it's much more rounded. I think it's really useful. So you've talked about the work you were doing with trusts before lockdown. After lockdown, have you seen any sort of good practice, you know, people pulling together, some good practice around learning development, or even the way people are delivering stuff that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I must admit, Stimsper and UK Active, I think, have been absolutely fantastic. They've collaborated from day one. You know, we speak to Sport England, UK Active, Stimsper on a weekly basis, really, if not more. So we see what they're doing behind the scenes. They're working frantically. They're working collaboratively, which is so important for the sector. And you know, just kind of leading, which is what we need at the moment. Some strong. That's great to see. And then from organisational points of view, we're doing some work with GM Active at the moment, for example. They're very forward thinking. Again, that's a collaboration of a number of trusts in Greater Manchester. And they are really, when I refer to reactivate, which is us kind of trying to get everybody up and running, we're using our Prozone platform. So the same platform that we've used for MemberZone, we called it at the start of this. We made it available to everybody for free and said, look, put loads of stuff on there, videos, documents, blogs, and your members can access it remotely. We're using the same platform for Reactivate, which is working. GM Active is sort of spearheading it. They're the kind of first test and trial, if you will. And we're asking Institute of Swimming, Royal Life Saving Society, MyZone, you know, send us your videos, send us your information, send us your documents, and we will put them on this platform. And then what we can do is add in cleaning procedures and your own procedures and various, you know, videos on how to do a pool test, things like that, to make that available for the sector. So the collaboration that we've seen across all those organisations that I've mentioned has been really good. And I think on the whole, you know, we've seen a really lovely side to our sector. You know, people working together, people looking out for each other, supporting each other, and you know, that's really lovely to see. So
that's really positive, Elaine, and I'd love to be able to finish on a positive note, because actually we've used it most of our time anyway. But it's really that type of feeling about the sector and about the way we're doing things. And you know, I think we are being seen to be doing a lot of good. I had the pleasure of speaking to Stuart from Referral this morning, and you know, he's talked about some of the exercise referral instructors sitting down and ringing up all of their vulnerable clients and just checking in on them and seeing how they are. And I think that type of stuff we've really got to push harder as a sector, telling people who we are, what we do, what we're about, and what we can all achieve together. So that's a really pleasurable close to that conversation. So Elaine, thank you so much. Really interesting, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon. All right, take care.
Thank you. Stay well. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.